Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel, PhD Chats. I'm so glad to have you here. If this is your first time on this channel, we will be chatting and discussing everything relationships, teaching, education, family, marriage, and taking care of yourself, right? Self care. So, this series is about 10 tough questions about each of those topics. So I'm excited that you're here and let's get ready to dive in. Welcome to my YouTube channel, PhD Chats. You clicked on the link when you didn't have to, and for that, I am grateful. Subscribers, thank you for keeping the conversation going. And if this is your first time at Chats with Petal, get ready to ponder, heal, and dream. This is my 10 tough question series. So we're answering 10 tough questions about a variety of topics. Some of these questions I have been asked in real time. Some of these questions I saw on Google. I asked ChatGPT for a little help, like, what are commonly asked questions about a topic? And then I put them together. I did not review the questions too extensively, but there are topics that I am frequently discussing. So, but I wanted my reaction and my answer to be authentic and in real time. So let's go. 10 questions about, 10 questions about education, but from a parent's perspective. So, question number one, how do you stay involved in what your child is actually learning? Talk to them. Put the phone down. Put the phone down and talk to them. Put the phone down after you watch this video and go talk to your child. Have conversations with them without a phone. Have conversations with your child without the TV. That's where we start. We need to put the screens away. And if I sound like this theme of putting this phone down and turning off the TV is a repeated theme, I feel very strongly about it. So my opinion about parenting is going to be biased, skewed in that direction, because put your phone down. Put your phone down, turn the TV off, and talk to your child. You know, I saw a documentary where someone put the number of times a question was searched in Google. And the question was, how do I entertain my toddler without an iPad? And that was so profound to me. Like, oh my God, like, oh my goodness, parents don't know how to play with a baby because of the generations, the parents who were once children, they were raised with devices as well. So it was just such a eye-opening moment. I just sat there and watched it and thought, oh my goodness, right? So I always say there's no excuse anymore. The information is available. There's an information highway. There is information. There's hashtags. There's questions. There is no reason, like you can, just like those tens of thousands of parents who said, how do I play with my toddler without the iPad? You can ask, what questions do I ask my 7-year-old son? What do you talk to a 12-year-old girl about? And they will tell you, and then you read the questions. If you really don't know, and that will be a jumping off point, and let the child lead. Ask open-ended questions, and no question that they can answer with yes or no. And ask them, what did you learn today? And tell them, like, I forgot. What is that? What is that about? I don't remember, like what happened in World War One. What was the dates? How did it start again? What did World War One tell me? And make them tell you. And that means that you have to have time when you put the phone down, and you have to turn the TV off, because those conversations take time. Talk to your child. Literally ask them, what did you learn today? Don't say, how was school? It was good. How's your friends? You had fun? How's your teacher? Everything's nice? Okay. Don't have those conversations. Literally talk to your child about their day. What did you learn in school today? Tell me about it. I don't remember learning that in school. What was that about? What does that mean? How does it work? Show me. What is this new thing? What do you mean? What do you mean you're multiplying mixed fractions? Show me put a mixed fraction here and show me what that is. You have to spend time with your child and talk to them. And that's how you will listen. You don't have to know the content. A lot of parents open parent conferences by saying, I don't know the work. I can't help my child with their homework, but I just want to know that it's done. And I know you will help them in school. And so you don't have to know the work to have a conversation. I don't even think that you should be helping your child with homework, because the responsibility of a good teacher is to provide homework that the child can do independently. I mean, because the idea is that you are demonstrating your understanding of what was taught by doing independent work, as opposed to taking work home that you didn't understand in school and you're going home for a higher level of frustration. I don't think it's fair to the child or to the families. That's a separate conversation. We can discuss the philosophy of homework, but talk to your child, put down your phone, turn off the screen. That's the answer to that question. Okay. And that might be the answer to many of the questions on this list, but let's see. Question number 2. Should we expect schools to fix everything, or are we part of the solution? Your child doesn't need fixing because your child isn't broken. Children need developing. They need blossoming. They need watering. So your child needs to be watered, and that's what we're doing in school. We're watering them with information. We're developing them with information. That's what your child needs. I don't like the idea of part of the solution, because what is the problem really, right? Parents are part of that watering as well. Of course. I mean, it's your child. And I want to think that most teachers would want children to come to school with their socio-emotional learning uh, being at an age appropriate level, because that way we focus on our primary job, which is the dissemination of the curriculum. Now, that doesn't always happen. And so we're encountering children who need emotional support and needing behavioral support. And some of that is our responsibility in the classroom, and most of that is being shouldered by the support staff at the various schools. So children need watering. They don't need fixing. And your parenting, so no other entity, not the church, not the school, not your parents, not the child's aunties, nobody should be doing everything for a child if the parents are around, right? If you're a capable parent, then you should be most certainly watering and developing and nurturing and loving and celebrating and contributing to the development of this amazing human that is now in child form, right? So, yeah, that's my answer to that one. Number 3, why is it important to ask your child how school feels to them? Because school isn't fun for everyone, and school was not fun for me when I was a child. My friends were fun, recess was fun, but the classroom was not fun ever. It was I don't remember enjoying learning. I remember enjoying reading a little bit, and I remember enjoying the success on a test. But to say that I was excited to go to school to learn this new thing, I don't think there was one day I ever felt that. I mean, I don't remember feeling that. Um, school isn't fun for every child. It sucks for some kids. The structure, the rigidity, the the rigid, you know, transitions and routines, that it's not fun for some kids. That the sitting, the lack of movement, kids need visual arts, they need colors, some kids need quiet, some kids need silence, some kids need dimmer lighting, some children need less people around, some children need more talking time, less writing. School isn't fun for everyone. And I think when you talk to your child about when they said, um, I hate school, because children say that in the morning. How are you doing? I don't want to be here. Um, I don't have time to dive into why everybody doesn't want to be there, but I think it's important that you do, and that you hone into the specific thing that is challenging for your child. Try to, like, what is it? Is it the teachers? Do you feel bored? Are things hard? Do you like your friends? Like, tell me what you like first. Like, what do you enjoy? What is the best part of your school day? Like, find that out first, and then you can dive into, um, you know, the things that are not so pleasant, and you can start to tackle those things, and either partner with the teacher, change a child's approach to that, create the experiences the child is missing in school outside of school. So there's ways to solve that, but definitely find out from your child why they don't like school. Why didn't I like school? It was too many days. I just remember as a child thinking, oh my God, 5 days out of 7. And then the waking up early was not fun for me. I remember my mom waking me up. She was getting ready for work, and we're all getting ready, and it's just no, no. So when a child says, I don't want to be here, I get it. I me too some days, and I want to be home. They're like, no, it's not true. You love your job. You love being here. Not all the time, but you can tell, because that's my maturity. I've learned how to feel one way but still apply myself, and that's part of my job, is to give you that ability as well. So yeah, definitely talk to your child about what it is about school they don't like. What does true partnership between home and school look like? So it's an excellent question. I think, I believe that parents and teachers should have some kind of an understanding of how their relationship will work. It is like a relationship, right? So over the years, I've met in trainings, in PDs, different teachers with different philosophies. I've had co-teachers. Everyone has a different approach to parent contact. So again, it's a spectrum. Some parents say, listen, you will not hear from me if your child is doing well. I'm never going to call you or text you. If you hear from me, there's a problem. I've heard teachers say that out loud to families, because I have a job to do, and if you send your child prepared to do that job, prepared to be receptive to that job, or prepared to succeed in the classroom, then you'll see that output in their grades. So that's great. That your child's grades is an indicator of what's happening. If you hear from me, it's because your child is impeding learning for other students themselves, and they're preventing me from doing my job. So there's teachers who are in that perspective. I don't need to talk to you unless there's a problem. And then there are teachers that give constant updates. They're constantly emailing, constantly texting, constantly chatting, because I need the child to know that we are in communication, because that alone is a behavior management tool. I believe a lot of children understand that there's 25 of us in the classroom, there's 30 of us, we're all acting out. There's no way you're calling 30 parents tonight. So I'm just gonna, use probability. What are the odds that if we're all acting up and we're all loud right now, you're going to go home and call 30 students? So children believe that they can escape, reasonable redirection from their parents and consequences because teachers won't tell. So I create the illusion from early on, not the illusion, I create a relationship that your parents and I are constantly talking to each other all the time. Show them text messages. They see the whole text thread. Hey, how you doing? Here's a great story. Here's how your child succeeded. Hey, how are you? Here's a concern I have. Can we both talk to him or her about it so that we can address the behaviors? I have a unique homework philosophy, and I can talk about that in another video. My primary hope is that parents tell their child what school is for, and that you send your child to school understanding what school is for. But this is an analogy that I tell my students in class all the time. I've told this story to my sixth graders, seventh graders, eighth graders. If I am at home and I shower, I get ready, I put on my gym clothes, I put on my gym shoes, I take my bag, I put my water with electrolytes, my weights, my towel, my headband, I have on my, my racerback spandex and comfortable leggings, and I jog over to the gym and make my way to the gym. When I get to the gym, I go around and I greet all my friends who are working out. I say hi to them. I see who's on the treadmill, who's lifting, who is, doing stationary. I see my planking friends and I say hi to everyone. I sit and I look at people work out and I just walk around the gym and I look like a gym member and I am in a place where people are working out and I am in proximity to other gym members who are working out, and I look the role of a gym member. I'm playing that part, but I never actually work out. And if I went home and I went to bed and I woke back up and I got up, showered, put my gym clothes on, my sneakers, my water bottle, electrolytes, gym bag, towel, headband, and I make my way to the gym and I greet everyone and I say, hi, how you doing? And I walk around in proximity to everybody who is working out. I see personal trainers, I greet them, and I'm just in the space without ever working out. If you knew I was doing that 5 days a week, what would you call me? And they say, you're crazy, you're nuts. I mean, it makes no sense, but that's nonsense. Why would you do that? Who would do that? And I say, well, that's what it looks like to me when you come into school, you're dressed as a student, you're in a place for learning, you're in proximity to other students, you're playing the part, you look the part of a student, but there's no actual learning. Like, why are you here? You're here to learn. Why did your parents drop you off? Why are you walking 15 minutes to come into a building and not learn? That's crazy, right? You said that's nuts. That's crazy. That's wild. Well, it's nuts. It's crazy. It's wild that you're doing the same thing. Yeah. So I tell a version of that story every year to my children. And I remind them and say, remember the gym analogy, right? You're here to learn. Like that is why you're here. All of the things around you is supposed to contribute to your brain engagement. That's what true partnership looks like. Parents send their child to school, understanding that they're there to learn. Parents send their child to school, understanding that things are going to be hard. So that when I text you and tell you that your child is laying on the desk, that's a big deal for you. When I text you and tell you your child came to school without the tools they needed, that's a big deal. When I tell you I had to wake your child up twice in class, that'd be a big deal. Because if you're sending your child to school to learn, right, if you're paying for your child to go work out in the gym and the trainer said, oh yeah, they came today, but 5 minutes after they came, they were sleeping, and you're paying money for a trainer to teach your child, to play a sport, and they're sleeping halfway through the training session, you would be livid, right? So when your child is sleeping in class, that's a huge deal. Why? I mean, I'm waking them up, but how much waking up can you do? I want parents to send their child to school understanding what school is for. It's a place that you learn. You're coming into school at 8, 10, 9, whatever. And when you leave, there's something that you didn't know, or there's some learning that's been adjusted. There's something that you know more about. Your learning is deepened, or you've learned something new, like, wow, that was pretty cool today. Okay, that is what we're trying to do in the 50 minutes. So we need everyone to be a team and to make sure that that happens. And so every distraction, every disruption, it impedes, it hijacks that process. And so I want parents to say, listen, you're going into school and there's an adult in that room that's going to be setting the tone and setting some instructions. Align yourself with what they're saying, right? Fulfill the expectations they have for you. That's what to tell your child, and not measure the things that teachers say by if it sounds serious or not. Like anything that disrupts learning, the laughing unnecessarily, banging the desk, the chuckling, the language, anything that disrupts learning is a huge deal, because that's why we're there. So that's what that partnership looks like. That, I communicate successes to you, you celebrate with your child. I communicate concerns to you, you redirect your child. You ask questions of me, I get those questions answered to you, and we are both working on making sure your child is contributing positively to the learning experience every day. Just like there are teachers who say, you will never hear from me, there are parents who are like, listen, if everything's great and my child is learning, I'm good. I'm not calling, I'm not texting. And there are parents who call and text frequently, but I do feel like parents should be more engaged with their child's teacher. How do you support your child when school feels hard? Life is hard. Life is hard. Everything is hard. Everything requires effort. When I'm finished making this video, standing up is going to require effort. And different things feel hard for some people and easier for some, right? I have a colleague of mine who cooks very frequently. And she would tell me, on my way home, there's a Trader Joe's. I park on this specific street. I walk over, I pick up the groceries, takes me 30, 40 minutes. I go home and I prepare fresh food every day. And I'm like, what? What do you mean every day? Like every other day? Like, grocery shopping is hard for me. And I mean, I do it, but it is a very monotonous, tasky activity that I don't particularly enjoy. But I grocery shop. Like, you wouldn't know that from looking at me, but it's harder for me in terms of making up my mind to go than it is for other people, right? You have to let your child know that some people love doing some things. Some kids are going to race through a math problem. Some kids are going to read through the history document or the social studies image, and they're going to decipher that quickly, and that's easy for them. And it might be challenging for you. And there are things in your own life that are going to be easier for you, and you tell your child what that is. Because if you put your phone down and you turn off the screen, you're going to see the things your child are good at. So you'll be able to say, you're really good at this. And that might be hard for some people. So learning feels hard now, but your brain is a muscle. It's an organ, but it's figuratively a muscle, and you can work it out and it will get stronger and things will become easier. There are videos of brain games where they show you in real time how doing the same thing over and over, how your skills improve. So they have people standing on a basketball court, for example, they're throwing a basketball, and in the first minute, they score 6, and in the second minute, 9, in the third minute, 15, and in the fourth minute, 20. And by the fifth minute, they're scoring probably a shot every 2 seconds, because your brain remembers success. When you do something and you're good at it, that dopamine, the brain wants to re-experience that. So it registers everything you did. So when you pick that ball up again, it stops your hand just where it was. And each time you do it, it gets easier, right? And it's not about teaching your child rote memorization, but there's a place for that. But your brain loves challenges and then it adjusts. So it feels hard now, but it becomes easier if you practice, right? And remind your child that there are things that they do that are easy for them and challenging for others. Should you push for academic success or focus on emotional growth too? Both, 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 both. They're equally important. I want to say that the emotional development is probably the 51% important and the educational 49, because if your child is resilient and if they embrace challenges and if they understand that things are hard and that doing hard things make them better, then learning is easier. If your child is curious and they're regulated and they can feel something but not express it and they can manage themselves, then learning is easier. And if your child understands boundaries and they respect others and they respect themselves and they feel they have belief in themselves and they believe that they can, then learning is easier. When your child's emotional well-being is whole, then learning is easier. So both, 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 both. How do you advocate without undermining educators? Um, I don't think educators are undermined by your advocacy. We're undermined when you're undermining us. I mean, if you're really advocating for your child, that is going to be evident because it's going to be centered on the child's best interests. If you make it about what I am doing and how I am doing it and why what I'm doing is wrong, then you're undermining me. I think those are two very different things. So if you're advocating for your child, your goal is your child's success. What can they do to succeed? How can I help? That's the language you need. What does my child have to do? And how can I help them do it? Undermining is, what are you doing to support my child? How are you fixing it? What are you doing in the classroom? What are you doing to make this work? Right? It starts with your child. It starts with them. They have to come to school understanding that I have to get something from this 50 minutes. I have to get something from this period. I have to get something from this 6 hours. So I wonder what is it going to be? And they have to listen for information that sounds new. They have to listen for information that sounds unfamiliar. They have to remain curious. They have to be able to follow instructions that they don't always agree with. And then at the end say, why did you make me move my seat from the first to the second row? And then I can say, because I saw a child that was about to distract you and I wanted you to remain in the lesson. I just pulled you away to a place I thought would help you focus. You want a child that can do that. Move, not feeling it's fair, and 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 just responds and does it and then acts after. So all of those things, advocating for your child is advocating for your child's best interest. What can my child do? What does he need? What is his pathway? What is her pathway for success? What does she need to do? How does she need to do it? What can I do? Can you help me? Right? Here's what I think. And you don't want to come with no ideas, because we've had parents over the years that just say, I don't know what to do, tell me. I mean, and actually it's fair because some parents really don't know. But that's the language. Undermining is, well, I think you're not doing enough. I think you should. I think you, because we can try. But if your child insists on talking when someone is talking, if your child insists on taking out their phones, if your child insists on drawing, if your child is not, managing their distractibility, if your child comes to school unprepared, doesn't do the homework, doesn't ask questions, isn't engaged, I mean, we can talk till our eyes bleed. those behaviors need to be addressed. So I think those are two different things. And as a parent, you can ask the teacher, like, like, I don't want this to feel like I'm questioning your ability, but here's what I'm concerned about, and make it about your child's success. Why is it important to know your child's learning style? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's important to know your child, period. It's important to know your child, period. That's it. Put a pin in learning style. Just know your child. Know the things they love to do. Know the things they don't like to do. Know the things they do well. Know the things they struggle with. Take note of what they ask you to do all the time. Take note of the moments when they're at their happiness. Put down the phone, turn off the screen, and none of those answers can be their iPad. None of those answers can be the phone. No. No. It's important to know your child. Spend time with them. Talk to them without your phone. Let them put their phones down. Let them put their iPads down. Turn off the TV and talk to your child. You will learn not only their learning style, you will learn a lot of things about them, their preferences. You will learn their likes. You will learn their fears. You will learn their struggles. You will learn their joys. Turn off the TV. Put the phone down only after you watch this video, and talk to your child and ask open-ended questions. And the learning style will be exposed along with everything else. What are you modeling at home about curiosity and effort? So I'll answer this about myself. When you see something or you hear something that doesn't resonate, it doesn't make sense, ask about it. Get it clarified. So make that a norm, right? So the curiosity, make sure that you're not anchored in one perspective, and that even if you have strong guiding principles that you use to guide your life, make sure that you're open to hear from others. And that even if someone says something that is diametrically opposed to your belief system, that be curious about their background. How did you come to have that perspective? So model that at home. When you see things, when people talk to you, when the TV is on, and someone shares a perspective on TV, ask, be curious, keep yourself in a place of wonder. Never be a know-it-all. I know everything. I've been there. I've done it. I've seen. I've heard. I know. Because, a lot of people don't know what they don't know. And you don't want your child to be in a space where their understanding of the world is limited, but they're very complacent. So don't be a complacent adult. Always be curious. Effort. Make complaining okay, right? Make expressing exhaustion okay. Make expressing your preference okay. If I don't feel like cooking, I'll say, oh my God, I don't feel like cooking today. But then I get up and do it. Right? That is the secret sauce. Okay. Let me take an hour and prepare this lesson for tomorrow. Make that the norm. That you do things that are hard, and you do things that are unpleasant. You do things that you don't particularly enjoy. There's a generation of young people, and maybe some adults, they only want to do what they like. If they don't like it, they're not doing it. If they don't want to, they're not doing it. So make sure that your child sees that you do difficult things, and that you do things when you don't want to, and that you can express a preference, a dislike, but you push past that as a demonstration of your maturity, and you do things you don't like. That's how you model that at home. How can you help your child succeed without adding pressure? Celebrate small successes. Recognize all the things they do well, and that's that's every parent's journey. Celebrate their successes and recognize their growth. You take note of, every day it would take you like an hour to finish your homework, and I see that it's getting better. Every day you would, take longer to do something, and now I see that you're getting better at it. I like the way you just corrected your brother. That was kind, but it was firm. You're really good at that. You're good at being a big sister. You really care for your younger brother. That's amazing. Look at how you put that outfit together. I like that. These eggs are great. You're good at this. I think when children recognize that they can do things well, they want to try harder. They want difficult things. Just remind them of all the things that they're good at. And that's when you put the phone down, and you turn off the TV and you close the laptop, you will see the things that your child is doing well. And you will see the things that they're growing at because you're paying attention when you put the phone down. And so when you do that, then you remind them that I can and I'm able, and they're more willing to try. But they have to walk around knowing the stuff they're good at. I love when children say, everybody tells me I'm good. Everybody tells me my writing is amazing. Everybody tells me that I'm a wonderful singer. Everybody tells me that I'm the smartest kid and I can solve any math problems. I helped my high school cousin with his math homework. Everyone tells me I know this about myself, so I know I could do harder things. So do children need to be pushed beyond their limit? Beyond their comfort zone, I should say. Sometimes, yes. But if you want my approach to making a child succeed is to remind them that they are succeeding right now, and that will motivate them to want to do more of that. Okay. So that's my 10 questions on education, a parent's perspective. And I hope you enjoyed it. If there is any of these questions that you want to answer, add to, disagree with, add a comment, put it in the comments. If these videos are adding value to your life, if you're enjoying watching them, please be sure to subscribe, turn the notifications on so you can see all of the videos in this 10 tough questions series. I'm looking forward to you joining me for my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.